We do have additional comments by members of the public who were here earlier under citizen. Under citizens' requests will be John Edmondson. John, are you still here? Thank you for your waiting till the end of the meeting. Very much appreciate it.
Mayor?
Councilman, please.
This is Al CJ. I'm going to be on the phone, but I don't know if the public is aware, we're not allowed to ask questions or engage by law.
With some strict amendments that,
right.
Yes, as a general rule, we can't respond. We just listen to the public at this time, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I'm here, my name's John Edmondson. I'm a citizen of Phoenix. I'm here to speak against the South Mountain Freeway. Why should we build it at all? Let's be clear, every mode of transportation requires taxpayer involvement, even walking. Whether we're doing bus, light rail, airplane, or car, we're all contributing to the transportation infrastructure through our taxes. Some taxes are targeted to specific modes, but all modes are supported by tax dollars. Thus, as a community, we should be reviewing the cost benefit of each mode of transportation and pursue those that deliver the greatest benefit for the least cost. As Councilman DeCiccio said earlier in the meeting, better, smarter, faster is things that we should be doing as a city. As Mayor Stanton said, hopefully we could be increasing bus service in the future. By ADOT's own admission, this freeway will become gridlocked in less than 10 years. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, much like freeway building. It's time as a city that we look at alternative forms of transportation. The freeway is expected to cost $2.5 billion. A back-of-the-napkin example of what we could do with some of that money, we could buy 100 buses, hire drivers for those 100 buses, and operate for 10 to 12 years for $800 million. We could then invest some of that other money in other modes of transportation. But as a city, as a community, we need to be looking at different alternatives. I know that this is a really simplistic example, but as a community, moving forward, we need to look at what our citizens want. According to recent studies by our own esteemed ASU real estate department, younger generations are driving less, and they are looking for alternative modes of transportation to a vehicle. So let's start building our community for the future. Now, I know that one of the common complaints is nobody rides the bus. That's because our bus service doesn't go where we want it to go, and it doesn't get us there in a timely fashion. I have worked from home for 14 years. I can drive to the airport in 15 minutes. I can take a bus. It takes an hour and a half and 2 connections. For a city of this size, that's crazy. If we put in express routes throughout the city, I'm not talking just from Ahwatukee, but everywhere in the city, we could have an alternative mode of transportation and eliminate this freeway and all the damage it's going to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edmondson. The next speaker will be Scott Herman. Good to see you. Thank you for coming down, followed by Daniel Mills.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Scott Herman. I moved to this city 21 years ago and picked Ahwatukee because of the safety and the beauty of the area. Do you know, I believe that South Mountain is a resource that's highly valued by a majority of the people of Phoenix, the citizens, let's say. And Phoenix South Mountain is not only a park, it's a preserve that contains lands that are to be protected by law in their natural state. So what part of the word preserve does ADOT and the Federal Highway Administration and their private corporate friends not understand? You cannot just whack 30+ acres and 3 ridges off the side of a mountain and expect or think there will not be an impact to the environment. But when you gain funding from a private source who have no reason to care if the preserve exists or not, that's when ADOT turns a blind eye. They only need to make sure they profit at the expense of endangered species, let alone other animals and fragile and diverse plant life that will be crushed by that freeway. And I use the word crushed intently. Who's going to tell the burrowing owl, the endangered desert tortoises, and the shovel-nosed snakes, hey boys, it's time to move on? Nobody. They get crushed while corporate greed gets what they want, a freeway corridor to higher profits. To our Native American friends, this is sacred land, an important part of their religion and tribal heritage. Once the area is destroyed, any relics, landmarks that have historic or religious significance will be gone forever. The environmental impact study also put off analysis of the entire categories of where the freeway will wait until a design phase of construction. Really? Basically, we'll start the project and then figure it out later as they devastate land and construct the highway, causing damage to an ecosystem and our mountain preserve that will not be reversed once it starts. Section 4F, that is in Frank, of the Transportation Act mandates the rejection of any project that requires and uses a preserve or park land, unless one, there's no feasible alternative, or two, they minimize the impact to the land. There are many other feasible ways to build this freeway, but ADOT has rejected them because they were outside the Maricopa study area. The South Mountain Freeway will not alleviate any traffic, as you've heard today. The freeway provides nothing, no benefits to Ahwatukee or this city, except more noise, more pollution, and more hazmat traffic in an area, plus the devastation of the preserved life itself. So why are we really here as members of Park? Mayor, we're asking you and the City Council to just say no to the South Mountain Freeway. And while you think about that, keep this in mind. Your silence wipes out endangered species and crushes flora and fauna. Your silence destroys historic lands and sacred tribal grounds. Your silence starts an endless stream of noise and pollution to that side of South Mountain that will never go away. Your silence ruins an area that we all love and live in. Your silence will haunt you to your last day on earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Herman. Next speaker will be Daniel Mills. Daniel, you wish to testify, followed by Connie Squires.
Mayor Stanton, members of the council, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Daniel Mills, and I'm a member of Park. A few months ago, I submitted a comment to the South Mountain DEIS asking why a particular study was absent from their analysis. The Joint Air Toxics Assessment Project, as it is called, documented already dangerous levels of formaldehyde, benzene, and other harmful toxins along the proposed route. I asked how ADOT reasons they will be lowered by adding a major freeway where toxins already exist in levels that exceed EPA standards. I searched the FEIS when it came out, found my question in ADOT's response, and paraphrased, it was this: the data was not relevant because, and now I'm quoting their response, assessing current conditions of the affected area tells us nothing of future conditions. It was difficult for me to wrap my mind around that one. This is only one example revealing how the FEIS has neglected relevant information and tailored its findings to gain public support and justification. ADOT and MAG have manipulated the public by having them believe a freeway can alleviate air quality and lessen traffic. A freeway that will slice through a treasured state park in violation of the Transportation Act, that ignores alternatives such as the I-11, also putting it in violation of NEPA, and that the Sierra Club has named the #1 worst transportation project in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, this freeway will do nothing to alleviate traffic, as traffic is not caused by a lack of freeways. Traffic is caused by cars. It is caused by decades of transportation planning that fails to invest in alternatives. ADOT operates on the outdated belief that adding infrastructure designated for cars, only cars, will somehow alleviate traffic and help remove the toxins they emit. Award-winning city planner and author Jeff Speck summarized it nicely when he wrote, "The computer model is only as good as its inputs, and there's nothing easier than tweaking the inputs to get the outcome you want." ADOT is tweaking the inputs. They are ignoring and distorting data in order to benefit the trucking industry and their own interests. They are forcing upon us outdated methods of planning, where a massive transportation project that tears apart neighborhoods, that devastates the environment, that exposes us to harmful toxins, and that has weighed over residents for 30 years, is somehow going to improve our communities. Since ADOT hasn't done its homework on this issue, all these issues, I urge you to make use of the experts and data that Park has worked hard to collect so that you can get a full picture on what a disaster this freeway truly is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mills, Connie Squires is next, followed by Leonard Clark.
Mayor, members of the council, and ladies and gentlemen, this council has a powerful voice within MAG that has proposed and insisted upon the current SMF plan. Now, you all are all politicians, and as much as you like to play your politics, your obligation is to the people of Phoenix, not to special interest groups. The council owes residents the infrastructure they need while also protecting them from environmental destruction and dangers to their health and well-being. The SMF is not a needed part of that infrastructure, and it definitely poses unacceptable risks to our environment and our health. MAG needs to hear that from its Phoenix representative. Do you want to be responsible for permitting LA-like air pollution to become commonplace in Phoenix? Responsible for over 13,000 students being put at high risk for developing or worsening asthma, as well as retarding their lung development? If people die in Albuquerque from a hazmat spill, do you want your name to be mentioned as someone who could have prevented such a disaster? Will you be responsible for denying Native Americans the freedom to practice their religion within parts of the South Mountain that they consider sacred? Would you like to take credit for destroying portions of South Mountain Park and Preserve that are revered by most Phoenix residents? Do you want to explain to the residents of Lakewood why they no longer have lakes? Your part in encouraging MAG to move forward with the SMF, even if it's just your silence, will make you responsible for all these tragedies and more. Are you concerned that Laveen citizens are not having better access to the I-10 West so that they can get the hospital that they need? If so, push for a road from Laveen to the I-10 West, not an unnecessary freeway crashing through South Mountain. Is the Broadway curve a problem that needs to be resolved? Yes, then push for an improvement to the Broadway curve, not a freeway behind South Mountain that will have no appreciable effect upon the congestion at the Broadway curve. Do you want to relieve the unbearable traffic congestion in the West Valley? If so, then push for direct relief measures that would make a positive difference, not a new SMF freeway interchange on I-10 at 59th Avenue. If you would like to see the Canamex Highway completed to direct truck traffic around the Valley of the Sun as it travels north and south, then push for SMF funds to be redirected to improving the current truck bypass to a good freeway for that purpose. Finally, do you want to be remembered for what you did to Phoenix residents or what you did for Phoenix residents? Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Squires, for taking the time to come down. Next is Leonard Clark, followed by Philip Hounkin, maybe, I apologize, but Philip is next.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Leonard Clark. I live here in Phoenix, and I do support what they're saying, but I'm up here for some other things I'm going to say, but I'm against putting in this freeway right now as the way it stands, and I've heard some very good reasoning on that part, so I hope you'll not, go along with it. I'm here for some concerns today, and look, I'm not here to scare people. I've had politicians tell me, well, Clark, you're up here scaring people, but as you know, we've had our first diagnosis of Ebola in somebody in Dallas, in Texas. And the reports are coming out today that the hospital officials, after the man had said he had just left Liberia, and told he'd come from that area, they sent him home anyways with some antibiotics to contaminate people. Now, I know you don't have direct jurisdiction, but as our city leaders, you could maybe be double checking that all of our hospitals located within the city of Phoenix are not sending home people who just get off an airplane at Sky Harbor Airport, our airport, mind you. Hopefully you can check with the federal government, customs, that somebody getting off a plane from Liberia or a ground zero area that's got Ebola, are being monitored. The man did go to the hospital. It wasn't his fault. They sent him home. I mean, what are we paying private corporate health care corporations, these hospitals, for if they're doing that? So I'm asking you, because this affects the safety of my fellow Phoenix residents. We've already got this enterovirus. Many children have been affected by it. There's an epidemic going on with that. This is not a scare thing, because they let the man go home. They sent him home with I'm just asking that you do that. And I also want to say that I strongly support those people, those nonviolent people in Hong Kong who are striving for democracy, even though it looks like they're going to be probably shot down like they were in Tiananmen Square. And I'll always remember that, because I was protesting that day at U of A, the congressional pay hike. Thank you for letting me speak, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. Philip Hurricane, is that the right name? All right, maybe he had to leave because of the length of the meeting. Liz Hurricane or Hounkin? Diane Barker, did you provide testimony?
Good evening, Mayor and Councilman Gates. Diane Barker. I am a free American woman. Speaking here at the elevator does not go to the top floor of this tribunal. And I've said it before, but I'll really see it. I'm pulling the curtain up. The fact is, you don't have a quorum for the public session. This is not a meeting. This is not of the official record, because you only allow the formal meeting where you select the items that are of agenda, and we cannot veer on a topic freely speaking. Liberty and free speech go in hand. There is not liberty at the City of Phoenix. This is contrived. I'm sorry I have to say this, but the proof is in the pudding. These people here, their item, unless you're here to vote on it, you have all the power. And Councilman DeCiccio, you're wrong in this fact that if you're, whether you're not inclusive of the things, of the powers that you have, is to ask for clarification of the speaker. You can ask that it put to vote and put on an agenda item for adoption and action, and you can respond to criticism. So I am really opposed still that you have not fixed the public process. Oh, it looked pretty, and Councilman DeCiccio was on the front talking about how it's all for the citizens, but he is denying democracy, and it is in the face here. These people here will be on a video, but it will be on a separate video from the formal, which is difficult to find. And today, I could not find, because it wasn't there. I was told the way that the minutes are is that the comments from the session, which we are not the meeting, we're not on the official record here, would be given for the policy, but they're not there. They weren't made up. So this letter I have from management back in last spring is not what it says that it will be there. I've talked to them, and they're trying to get it done, and I figure they probably will. But I was looking for the answer of my submission of September the 17th, and it isn't there. And the fact is, you very well know, you're blaming it on the open meeting law, that basically it only regulates the minutes to what's on the public agenda. Yeah, but you're the ones that determine the way that it is. No city does what you're doing. Now, finally, the transit director, we are the grant recipient. We pay money, yeah, to keep that certification. It has specific assurances and certifications that have to be signed by the attorney and the transit director, and we can't have any fraud and problems in any of the programs of the transit, and that is public involvement also. We're supposed to be heard. Federal Highway Authority, also 23450, states the public is to be heard and considered. Now, I'm going to the City of Phoenix for you to change your ways, because When Frank Fairbanks was here, he got an attorney just to say yes, 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 and he was wrong. And there was money that was taken away from and they were embarrassed at Transit. Don't do this. Don't do this anymore to the people. And at MAG, it may be nice, Mayor, when you said that, you know, you were the only one here for public comment, and you said, well, you got the best. I looked at it as a distraction, kind of cute, but people look at it as a cavalier, and it's cavalier at MAG. When the city of Phoenix gets half of the vote, and they're not allowing democracy, it's wrong.
Thank you very much, Ms. Barker. I appreciate you taking the time to come down. The final speaker will be Franco Habre.
Mayor?
Oh,
Mayor?
Councilman DeCiccio, please.
May I ask questions of staff?
Maybe. Depends on the question. Go ahead.
Right. That's exactly it. Am I allowed to ask at this point of staff to have a special meeting of the council for the freeway vote?
Okay, but so, I mean, I guess the request is duly noted, but we'll have to do it something more formally if you want to. Okay, Franco Habre.
Well, no, I'm not done.
Councilman, go ahead.
I was planning on waiting till tomorrow morning, Diane. And Diane, I'm going to address this point here. Remember who's the one who opened up and made the motion to open it up to where you can get on TV and allow public comment to be done on TV. It was me. So let's not forget about that and quit being so upset all the time.
May I respond to that?
I'm not done with my questions right now.
Councilman, go ahead.
I'm making an informal request, but I was planning on sending a letter tomorrow morning to ask for a public vote on the freeway for the entire council. And that was going to go out tomorrow morning after we heard the testimony from the neighborhood leaders, from the individuals that are going to be impacted by this freeway.
Okay.
So I'll be sending one out tomorrow in a formal way. That's the way we handle it at City Hall.
Thank you,
But I
Councilman.
was going to wait until after the testimony.
Thank you very much.
I just want to let Diane know I'm here watching her on television. And I like her black suit.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Barker. Franco Habre, are you here to testify? Okay. Is there anyone else here to testify during the citizen request period of the City Council? Going once, going twice. Thanks everyone for taking the time to come down. Your patience sitting through the meeting. Your testimony was duly noted and very much appreciated. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.